Okay.
Stop.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everybody. Start off with approval of our prior meeting minutes from April 4th, 2022, please.
I'll make the motion.
And a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Correspondence from Kathleen, please.
I have the standard workday and reporting resolution for elected and appointed officials. That needs to be approved. Jason Beebe, Planning Board, he has interest in being on the Planning Board. A letter from Monisha Maldonado regarding a Juneteenth Day Festival at the Town Park. Resignation from Paula Bird, Deputy Town Clerk, effective May 5th. Supervisor's report for March of '22. Budget modification for the police department. Letter from the town clerk in the town of Wawayanda with regard to a public hearing they're having for abandonment of site plan and residential subdivision applications, which will be addressed on May 5th at their meeting, and another one for penalties for zoning and building construction codes and offenses, which will be addressed at May 5th. The bid opening minutes for the demolition and removal of SBL 10146. A proposal from Engineered Solutions Corporation, and notice from Mike Brock at the Hidden Valley plant of items to surplus and destroy. That is all that I have.
All right, thank you, Kathleen. Go on to our committee reports from our board members. Report today, Jim?
Sure.
Wait a minute. Yeah, first I'd like to start off by the Easter Parade. We held our annual Easter Parade this past Friday. It was a good turnout. I'd like to thank the Maho PD, the Louisville Fire Department, House Fire Department, and all the staff, town staff that participated in this year's parade. Kids had a great time. They smiled when we went by. Village meeting will be this Thursday at 7 o'clock on the 21st. And the last thing I have is the Little League Parade. Opening day parade is this weekend, Saturday. Step off is at 10 a.m. at the old school and goes to the ball fields. That's all I have.
Thank you, Jim. Chris?
A few things. Matt and myself and the town engineer have met over at Hidden Valley with New York Rural Water. Steve came out and he's actually does the smoke testing and the screening when they do the cameras through the pipes. So we went over some things, and one thing Matt has on the agenda tonight, we're going to be asking about replacing some equipment in the plant. That has to be ordered 6 months out. So also I want to thank everybody that came out for the Easter Parade. It was a really good time. I really want to thank Howell's Fire Department, Otisville Fire Department, the Mount Hope Police Department, the Mount Hope Building Department, and the most important person was Easter Bunny. But we had a good showing. We did about 45 miles, I think.
That's about right.
Right?
Yep.
DCO was there too. So I just want to thank everybody for making it a success. Two other things quick. Friends of the Otisville School is having a virtual Tricky Tray Saturday at 11 a.m. If you go to Facebook or on their website, you'll be able to log on to that if you want to buy tickets or anything before, so it's virtual. Also, backed by popular demand, Cars and Coffee car show Saturday, May 21st at 9 a.m. till 12 over at the old school. It's always a great time. Everybody gets together. A lot of cars, a lot of different cars every time. So the other thing I wanted to say is, Brian, when summer camp, they have to fill out a form for employment, and we use the county. Can you explain why we use the county form?
As soon as it's my turn, it's first on my list.
I'm sorry, okay. I'm just saying this because there's a lot of armchair politicians out there that don't understand the process.
There's a lot of people that just don't understand the
And,
process.
you know, this board wants to do as much as we can for kids in our neighborhoods and in the town. And if we don't think it's gonna be safe or have enough people to do something, we're not gonna do it. So, you know, that's all I'm gonna say. I know Brian's gonna say some more on it, but I had to get the piece out. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Chris. Brian?
What I'm gonna talk about first, okay. Summer camp, unfortunately, I wasn't here last meeting. The decision obviously was made to not have summer camp, but I just want to explain to people, because there is a bunch of stuff, there's questions that people have. So, the number one thing, applications, the reason we use Orange County applications, and the reason that all that other mumbo jumbo was on the applications is because Orange County does our background checks. They do our background checks on every person that applies, whether you are a counselor, obviously, hopefully you don't have too much when you're underage, but they do all our background checks. Standard application, we follow their rules, they actually govern summer camp. I know a lot of people said, well, why can't you have half the amount of people? That's not our choice. We applied to Orange County, which we did, received the application from the county for summer camp. Unfortunately, we didn't get enough people to suffice that application, and that's kind of where we left off. We did secure the school, which was a big thing since we weren't able to do it for the last 2 years. Me personally talked to Brian Monahan. There was hopefully gonna be no issues with that. Again, we don't know where COVID is going, if it's going anywhere, but so far we had secured the school. So I just wanted to thank you, Chris, for bringing that up, but that is the reason we use, Department of Health is who governs us. They have to come in, they have to inspect the school. There's a lot of stuff that people don't know what happens. It's not just get a bunch of kids, plant some stuff and that's it. So unfortunately, like I said, I'll end it as they govern us. Summer concert series, I talked about 2 meetings ago. I've been working with Matt, not this Matt, but Matt from New Windsor. So we should have a schedule, hopefully the first week, if not the second week in May. It will run 8 weeks this year. It's gonna be extended a little bit for Night Out Against Crime, which is, we just talked about this before the meeting, August 2nd, and that concert will start at 6:30. Hope everyone had a good Easter. I didn't get to post something, which I will, and I'm sorry, but also for people that are celebrating Passover. I know Passover is the 15th through the 23rd, so I wanna put that out there. They're having a concert, and I was asked to bring this up, and it's on our Facebook page. The Old Methodist Church, there's some up here if anyone wants this, and it's also posted. They're gonna do a coffee house concert at the Old Methodist Church at 20 Highland Avenue, and I believe this is the 22nd, so this is Friday night. Starts at 6:30, goes to 8:30. It's a free event, but donations are being accepted. So this is right here in the village of Otisville, Friday night. Again, if you want one, there's one on the table. It's also on Facebook. Next on the list is CPR, which I also left out. We've been advertising that. I haven't talked to Angie, but do we know, is that on your list to talk about numbers? We do have?
Yes.
Okay, good, I'll skip that. I know the town highway department's been working on trash days. I know Dean's not here to talk about it, so I'm just gonna bring up, it runs through the 23rd. Monday to Friday, 8 to 5. Saturday is 8 to 1. If you have any questions about trash days, I've tried to answer them online, but I text Matt or I text Dean to answer them, so. That number is 845-386-5603. The youth center, I was notified by the cleaning woman that there's another hole in the wall, made by a ball of some sort, about 6 feet over from where the last hole that they repaired was. So, I don't know if that's on the list to talk about tonight, but if it is, I would like to also talk about pulling those lines up off the floor for our rentals. I did talk to the cleaning woman, and she informed me that Magic Eraser takes up all the magic marker marks, because I guess they had to mark certain spots, which I understand. Talked to the IT guy. We now have at the bottom of our website all the links from Facebook. So it's no more of us posting this meeting after tonight
we post the meeting, and then I have to send it to Angie, and Angie has to or send it to the website guy. You should now be able to go on our website, see the bottom of the page, and watch our meeting. Obviously not live, but after the fact, we upload it. A couple more things here. Little League. I saw, and I actually posted one of their pages, that they had some blacktopping done around their concession stand by Pingati Paving. Looks great. They also put up some safety barriers on field 3. I guess that was a concern because someone had gone onto the grass a little far, off the road. So I see that they have, I think, 6 barriers that they had put up, which is now protecting the dugout and the bleacher area there. Opening day is obviously on the 23rd, Saturday after the parade. And last but not least, I was not at the last meeting, unfortunately, but I just want to thank everyone that reached out to me about my dad passing away. Unfortunately, a few days before my birthday, but thank you for everyone that reached out. That's all I got.
Thank you, Brian. Amanda?
Planning board will meet this Wednesday, the 20th. They have 2 public hearings that are rescheduled from last month. One for a 2-lot subdivision on White Bridge and one for a 3-lot subdivision on Homestead Lane. Howell's Fire Department is hosting a open house this Saturday, April 23rd. It's from 11 to 2. It's for anyone interested in being a volunteer firefighter. You can come and meet the members, check out the firehouse, get some more information in becoming a volunteer firefighter. Otisville made 11 calls for the month of March. And I was gonna mention Little League, but I think everyone has heard. That's it.
Just to add to the Howells Fire Department, there will be some light refreshments for the guests. If that entices your volunteership, maybe that'll help you out. Just a couple items from me. Again, with summer camp, like Brian and Chris had both said, the Department of Health is the biggest oversight with that. The last time we had camp there, we had to have a follow-up inspection because they found too many bees' nests at the playground. So we had to have the janitors at the school at the time. They took care of that. They came back. So it's a very involved, very in-depth process with the Board of Health, like was said. So just to follow that. Just a reminder, our May 16th meeting will be moved to the Senior Center, same time, 7:30. That's up to Baker Street because that will be in conjunction with our police award ceremony. And I spoke with Dean earlier in the day. He only has, well, two things. The cleanup days, like Brian had mentioned, everything is going good. That's through Saturday, and the veterans had put a request in to him. They would like to use the town park for their flag retirement ceremony, which is either 1 or 2 times a year, depending on what they have in terms of volume of flags returned in. So they have a canister to burn the flags in their ceremony, and then after the fact, usually the next day they want to bury the ashes as part of the entire ceremony. So they're looking to host their events in the town park as well as do the burial in the town park as well. So he was good with that. The only thing I think we should request is that they pick a burial location with him per event, so this way it's not, you know, in a high traffic area. But, so if we could get a motion to allow the veterans to have their flag retirement ceremony at the town park, with their burial location approved by the highway superintendent, I'd like to,
I'll make
have
the motion.
And a second, please.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye. Matt, just to add, the only thing that's usually left, I've done this with scouts years in a row, is the eyelets from the flags. When people start throwing their Chinese flags in there, they're plastic, and they just get rid of everything. So the eyelets are really all that's left when they do a flag retirement.
Also, our container is full out here.
Okay, so we can let them know that that's gotta be cleaned out. So, all right, that's highway. And on for our police report.
Okay, guys, just a few things. I handed out before the meeting the request for a budget modification for 188931. This is the reimbursement from Officer Maderos. He, because he left before his contractual period, that was 50% of what he owed us, which is what the contract states. The checks are split into 2 because the city of Port Jervis actually paid part of it and he paid the difference. So there's 2 checks, that's the total amount. So just looking to have that put back into contractual. Bill Regan from West Star came, we met with him about the HVAC. so hopefully we'll be able to move forward. He did put a unit on hold because they're very hard to get, and if we don't award him the bid, he said he'll let whoever pick it up.
Yeah, he'll work with.
Whoever the vendor wins gets it, because otherwise, he said it could push it back a year. So, and we can move forward with that. The Summer Youth Academy, we have, as of today, 7 signed up. So we can accommodate, we were figuring about 25, so we're about, I don't know, a third of the way, a little bit less. I'm gonna touch base, they were closed last week because of the break with Brian Monahan. Their attorneys were working out some kind of, I don't know if it's called intermissible agreement or whatever for the busing, because they were gonna see about providing us a bus and what it would cost to make that happen. So, once I get that, I'll pass that on to, probably Bill, because David's not gonna be here, and then, but he said it would just be standard language from the school district. The copier, so I think I talked about it at the last meeting, did I talk about it last meeting? Yes, I did.
One or two.
So we got we got a second price, which is $100 more, $200 more?
No, I think it's 16. It's something. It's.
$16 more.
Yeah.
$16.
No, 37, I'm sorry.
$37 more. So the difference is $37 cheaper. I would like to stay with the company that we're using to replace it. It's a Sharp copier, it's on state contract. The total amount would be $5,402. This is the copier guy that we've had for at least 11 years. He's very receptive to coming. He's been keeping this machine going by stealing parts because they don't make this anymore. So for $37, when it was 100, I thought it was even worth 100, but for 37, I think it's definitely worth it. So requesting we take $5,402 out of the police capital reserve to pay for this. And we don't even know how old this machine is. This is the original machine from here, so it's old. So and there's no way, he said, of getting parts. If it breaks and you can't rummage through something else, then we're just not gonna have a machine until we order one. So I'd like to move forward with that. And then lastly, I'm gonna need a budget or a executive session, I'm sorry, for 2 personnel issues. Whenever you wanna do it, we can do it at the end, it's fine.
Well, what are you doing with your old machine? Throwing it out?
Yeah, I mean,
No, I'm just.
it came from here, so.
How long is it gonna take to get the new one?
That, I'm not sure. I think it's gonna be late. It's not gonna be
Yeah,
within,
that's not in this.
Yeah.
it doesn't say, but we'll just put it in the basement, or I can bring it down to Kathleen, because that's where it came from.
I just emptied all my surplus.
I'll just put it in my office
Yeah, actually, we did that once before. We moved it in there.
with a nice bow. With a
When
great-
it comes, I would like to just declare it surplus. Maybe we even get him to take it and get it out of our hair. Is that okay with you guys? Then, yeah, so authorize the purchase, declare that surplus, and if we can get him just to take it, that would be great. And unless anyone has any questions, that's all I have.
Yeah, just to follow up, like Paul had mentioned, the CPI copier from Sharp is on a big contract. The price from Toshiba, the other quote we got, is not on a contract, so this way we have all our bases covered with that. To our village report from Diane, please.
Okay, not a whole lot tonight. I think it was Brian, somebody mentioned that Little League hadn't put up the barriers. They did, even before I spoke with them, they did contact Dean and talk about making sure how far back off the road that he would need them to be. So it didn't interfere with plowing, and they were able to locate them so that you guys could plow and we could also mow. So I think they did a nice job with that, and I applaud them for bringing that to everyone's attention. At the last meeting, I mentioned something, it might have been 2 meetings ago, to Paul about parking on Main Street. I was misinformed. The actual formal complaint that we got was not about the 1 hour parking, it was about overnight parking, because he actually had sent us a suggested sign that we could put up, not knowing that we already have signs up.
Oh,
So the signs are there on either end of the street, they've been there for now, I guess, almost 2 years. So if you could just have your guys check early in the morning and late at night, you know, when they're coming on, when they're getting off, and see. I personally have not seen it, but I'm not usually out that late either, so, if we can just stay on top of that.
Diane, is that something different than like the snow removal stuff?
Yes,
It is, okay.
Main Street is 12 months a year. The other village streets are only, whatever it is, October to April, I guess.
Yes.
But, yeah, Main Street, the feeling was that there's a lot more with sweeping the street, which is in general, maintenance that's done year-round, so.
The building that's next to Mix, across from the Presbyterian Church,
Mhm.
has older people in it. Is that part of it?
Yeah, they can't park there.
Where are they gonna park?
In the parking lot,
Of the Presbyterian Church?
no, of the municipal parking lot,
Oh, do they know that?
yes. They
Okay.
should. We changed the law for them, as a matter of fact.
Listen,
Yeah,
I
this,
know a few
we
people
dealt
in
with
there, I'm
this
just
probably
asking.
2 years ago,
Yes.
and we had the signs ordered, and we told them, because one of the persons was elderly and didn't
Yes.
realize they weren't allowed to park there,
Yeah,
because
and
they
if-
always park there.
If they're not, because there's some new tenants, be sure that they do know that. I know the one new tenant I've already talked to, and she is aware of it. Yeah, prior to about 2 years ago, there was no overnight parking in the municipal parking lot, except in the very back, which is not paved and it's not really well lit, and that we had a lot of complaints, and that was legitimate. So we rewrote the parking lot to say that for tenants living on Main Street, for whom no other parking is available, so that includes the people above Mix, the people above the bar, and the people in that building, that they would be allowed to park in the parking lot, and it hasn't been an issue, and we never, didn't get into how we'd identify those people or anything else. And at the time, the people who were complaining have since moved, but they were fine with that. They didn't mind parking in the front of the parking lot, they just didn't wanna have to be in the back where it was dark. So,
There was
yeah,
no lighting in the back, and they were concerned
Sure.
for some safety
Yeah, I get it.
reasons. In the middle of the night, coming home and then having to walk in the
Yeah.
house.
Good.
We went back and forth for a while on that.
And so far, that seems to be going okay.
Yeah.
At one point in time, even back prior to that, they did have some sort of informal arrangement with the church, but as it was told to me, like everything else, one person abused the privilege, and so that they lost that privilege.
I get it.
And the only other thing I have, we do have our reorg meeting this coming Thursday, so, the mayor published the draft, for all of the trustees to look at ahead of time today. I will no longer be your liaison, so you won't see as much of me at meetings. Hopefully you will see more of Brian Latimer, he will be the new liaison to the town board, but you're stuck with me, I'm still the liaison to police department.
It's funny.
So, that's about it, but liaison or not, feel free to reach out to me at any time, I think you all know that. Okay, that's it.
Thanks, Diane. Letter of interest from Jason Beebe for the planning board vacancy. We have received 6 interested parties. The planning board chair and the deputy chair are working on setting up some dates for those interviews. So he will be included in that notification when they have their dates set. From that interview process, once they have their prospective candidates they'd like to fill the vacancies, they'll let us know and we'll make those appointments as needed. So that would be,
Do they have enough people right now to have a meeting?
they do.
Okay.
If they have, yeah, they'd have 7 people, 2 vacancies, they have 2 alternates, so they would have a full
Yep.
7 members if all showed. So, our letter, we've got 2. Did I miss something?
No, they only need 4 to make 4.
Correct, yeah, they need 4. We had a letter from Monisha Maldonado about a Juneteenth festival at the park. We got a second, informational piece to that today. Does anybody have any,
She's here, if you want
Yes.
to talk to her.
does anybody have any questions?
Will the police be required?
Do you have an anticipated, like, I guest size, or do you
I haven't,
not really know?
no, because I was waiting to see if it would be approved or not. So I don't have an anticipated size, I don't know if the police would be required, but from previous events in Middletown, usually I'm not even sure if they were there, so I don't know.
Do you know in other municipalities, have you been to festivals in other
I've
areas?
been to festivals,
Did-
I've seen their presence, but I didn't know if they were asked to be there.
Alright. Do you, is it normally a large crowd, like thousands of people that would show up for like the country fair, or is it more?
No. I don't think it'll draw that much of a big crowd here, I'm not sure. I could be wrong, it could draw a big crowd, I don't know.
So,
The reason he's asking is if a group is a certain size,
No,
you know, okay.
Yep. And yeah, that's why I use the fair and, you know, probably what Jim's.
it'll probably be something like the summer concerts,
Okay.
so that's not such of a big thing.
Okay. And the only, did you see if the dates that you had in request are Dean and Amy booked the park? I know they're not here this evening, they booked the park rentals if you would. That would be the only thing they would have to let you know if those dates are available for the,
Right, no, I haven't
okay.
checked to see, how do you check to see if someone else rents?
I'm gonna give you a number,
Okay,
386-5603.
and who is this?
That's direct to the highway department.
Yeah, that's the office one. Yeah, I think that would be a good festival to have, something like your letter says, it's a 2021 was the signing of the bill, so a new event, current event, so,
I have been talking to a lot of different vendors, food truck people. They are definitely interested in doing it. We just need to know if it will be done.
yeah, that would be with the food and the requirements like that,
Right.
that would be all part with the park
Right.
rental. So
Right.
this way, that would all be inclusive of the packet.
Mhm.
They would have, there again, the county health standards, they would have to have their certificates for that, so.
Mhm.
Yeah, that would be, does anybody have any other questions or comments? So pending the availability of the park rental and application to be completed for the Juneteenth festival, we'll make that motion to approve the festival pending their completed application and availability to the park for the requested dates of June 18th or 19th.
You make the motion.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Okay, make a motion to approve the supervisor's report for the month of March 2022, please.
Make the motion.
And a second?
Second motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I had not included our Pets Alive. This would be a secondary contract for our DCO to give him a second shelter option. Work very similar to what we have with the Middletown shelter. If he brings a dog to the shelter is the only time we would receive a bill on that. So I had sent that out probably the end of March, but forgot to take care of that at our last meeting, so would need to authorize the signature to the Pets Alive contract, is what we would need today, please.
Make the motion.
And a second,
One second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and the police department copier request. So, with the chief's recommendation, we'll go with the CPI copier for a total cost of $5,402.
I'll make the motion.
And a second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye. Just a question about, you know what, I'll ask it at the end.
Okay. And then, Paul, you had mentioned with moving from capital, what we'll do is, right now,
Take it out of equipment.
we'll take it out of equipment if we have to at the end of the year, if we have to budget mod something out of capital.
We're gonna have to anyway, for the half of the police car, not the car itself, but for the stuff.
The outfit and the equipment.
Yeah, Yep, that's fine.
Yeah, this way, if we have to use it, it's there, we can, but in the meantime, we can
Yep.
get a couple more pennies of interest on it.
Yep, that's fine.
So, all right, we have, next item is the resignation from Paula Bird, Deputy Town Clerk, Tax Collector, and Registrar, effective 5/5/2022.
I'll make that motion.
And a second,
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Next would be an appointment of Elizabeth Kulinich
Very good.
as Deputy Town Clerk, Tax Collector, and Registrar. Do we have an effective date, Kathleen?
Whenever you say is good, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever.
Wednesday would be the 20th, so that would be April 20th, 2022 for the effective date.
I'll make the motion.
And a second,
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
As mentioned earlier, we have started our advertising for our first aid and AED CPR classes. They'll be held up to the Senior Center on Baker Street. May 23rd is the first aid class. May 24th is the AED and CPR class, both starting at 6 p.m. Free for residents of the town of Mount Hope. Any non-resident would need to pay a $20 admission fee for class. Class space is limited, 15 spots per class. We're about halfway there now with 7, so we have the remainder to fill up for that. If you do want to sign up for the class, call down to the town hall, 386-1460 or 386-2211. Angie has the roster or the sign-up listing on that.
I have one thing I wanted to add to that. I spoke to Angie the other day because there's been an interest in infant CPR. And all I would say, which I've told everyone, is if we get enough people interested in it, then we'll address it and have it. I know some people that deal with daycare and stuff was kind of one of the questions that came up, but this particular one, they will talk about, but they don't fully go over infant stuff, so just to throw that out there.
Oh, and there was a couple questions with age for kids, if kids want, you say 10? 10 years old was the age limit, so 10 and over. The only reason for the age is each individual attendee of the class has to perform in order to pass and receive the certifications of chest compressions. And usually with, young children, they don't have the strength to make the goal there. So, our next item is Hidden Valley Surplus and Destroy. This is old equipment that is, it's broken or, outdated and non-functional. So these would all be surplus and destroyed. Mike would arrange with Dean to get these taken care of here at Junk Week. Some of them are some big metal pumps, so hopefully that would be some revenue on the scrap metal side of things. So we've got 3 submersible pumps, 1 flow meter and chart recorder, and 1 rotary lobe blower for surplus and destroy from the Hidden Valley Sewer District.
I'll make the motion.
And a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The next item, Chris had mentioned, we've got some upgrades inside the plant which are gonna have to be addressed. The first quote we have here is for a screener box. So what this does is it separates the solid from the liquid as it comes into the final stage of the plant where the filter section is. The current screen that's in there has 2 motors. One of them has failed and is no longer available. The company's gone out of business. There's no replacement parts available, so we're really running at, if you would, 50%. So we need to authorize the purchase order or this invoice quote that has come from Engineering Solutions Corporation. This would be, the reason we only have 1 quote is a proprietary piece to the plant that's made by them. So we don't have the ability to go, it's not like buying a water pump or a filter that goes in there. It's gotta be made by them for their plant. So for that reason, we only have the 1 quote. The total cost, not including the freight to have the complete unit delivered to the plant, is $56,045.15. I'm currently working with Senator Skoufis's office on a grant which would cover the cost of this cart and the installation, that is also inclusive of the installation labor on site once it's there. So we would need a motion to authorize the purchase of the filter screening box for a total cost of $56,045.15, not including the freight.
I'll make the motion.
And a second?
A second.
All in favor? Aye. And along the lines of Hidden Valley, Chris mentioned the smoke testing. We met with the contractor from New York Rural Water that takes care of that. We are scheduled for the end of August to have that done. What I'd like to do is have a workshop meeting. We'll schedule probably July, end of July. This way we can get hopefully the people from Hidden Valley out, explain to them what we want to do, what's going to happen in terms of, this is a testing of the underground sewer piping network. We have a large amount of water, groundwater that's getting into the sewer network, so this will help us to identify where it's coming from. So as we get further out, we'll do some advertising in terms of the workshop date. This way we can have the people come down, ask some questions, they can understand what's going on with the testing aspect. Once we get closer to that, we have some mailings and some paperwork that will be sent out to the people that live in the Hidden Valley Sewer District to let them know, the dates and exactly what will go on with that. So that is something coming up in the summer for the Hidden Valley residents. Our standard workday reporting for elected and appointed officials resolution, could you read that, Kathleen, please?
Sure. Be it resolved that the town of Mount Hope 30364 hereby establish the following standard workdays for these titles and will report the officials to the New York State and local retirement based on their record of activities, and that includes Matthew Howell, myself, Dean Hassemeyer, Dennis Ketchum, Angela Cangelosi, Joseph Hosking, John Goldsmith, Brian Carey, Amanda Davis, Christopher Fromm, with their respective hours.
Jim Jennings?
No, he's not on here. Are you part of the retirement?
No, I'm not.
That's what,
Okay.
that's what I
See, when you should-
And
You're supposed to be on here? Oh, well, yeah, I guess Angie would have to add Julie.
and we will
Unless
check
you,
with Angie.
yeah, you wanna hold it over till next meeting?
Is there a time frame that they need that?
She didn't say, she just asked that it
Just
be
leave it
read.
open-ended where whoever else needs to be added.
So
Okay.
what we'll do is I'll check with Angie tomorrow. We'll add Julie, any other employees that we need to add, we'll do that. Then, once that's done, we'll have Kathleen sign that once it's filled in. So we get a motion to adopt the standard resolution as read, pending any additions as needed or requested, and authorize the town clerk to sign that.
I'll make,
Go ahead, Chris.
I'll make the motion.
And a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we have the police budget modification. If you could read that, please, Kathleen.
Please increase police fees A 1520 for the amount of $1,889.31. Then increase the expense line in police contractual A 3120.4 for the amount of $1,889.31. This transfer of funds represents a reimbursement for Officer Maderos' ballistic vest, uniform, and training.
Need a motion to adopt the budget modification as read,
I'll make the motion.
and a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We need an authorization to pay our bills for abstracts numbers 14 and 15.
I'll make that motion.
And a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. That's oral business. The bid results for the demolition and removal at property section block and lot 10-146. We have our bid opening minutes from the town clerk's office. 2 contractors had bid on that. TAM Enterprises for a grand total of $187,024. And the second contractor, Ground Control Excavating, bid amount, grand total of $62,000. Does anybody have any questions?
I do.
Go for it.
Is this just a bid for taking the house down? Is this just a bid for taking everything out up to the house? Or is this for cleaning the yard completely?
The bid from TAM is the dwelling only,
Dwelling, okay.
and let me see. Just a minute.
187.24.
That was a note on their, we'll call it the cover page. It reads, "It is expressly understood and agreed upon that the town of Mount Hope, that the debris and materials located adjacent to and throughout the surrounding property is not part of the project, and the project is limited to the demolition and removal of one house." So that was right on the very beginning, and
They didn't have a cover letter, did they?
no, there's no cover letter, there's no other. It gives their bid amount, $62,000. Contact information. So there's no detail or note on the second contractor.
How long will it take for the town to get their money back for paying the 62,000 if that's the one we go with?
If the owner of the property does not pay the invoice that would be sent to them after the project is completed by the contractor, the bill would be levied against their tax bill. So it would probably be this time, or it would be about a year.
Okay.
So if they don't pay the tax bill, if they come in and pay it in January, then you get your money. If they don't pay it, the county would then make the town whole. So if you don't pay, if I don't pay my taxes, the $2,000 bill, the county gives us the money, and then the county goes to the property owner to retrieve their funds, so.
Now, eventually, if it goes up for sale through the county, because that's what they would do with it, if it's not paid their bills,
Correct.
who would be responsible for taking the remaining stuff off the property?
I don't know how the county handles that when they sell it.
Okay. I'm just I know
That's
it's
a
a
county
process,
property tax.
but obviously, it's like a process we're gonna find out about. Okay.
I know I'm gonna have some phone calls tomorrow. Who can I direct them to?
I'll take them.
Okay. I'll put them through your voicemail, okay.
They will come.
Mhm.
They-
I have had them all day today.
Yeah. Is there any questions or other comments regarding the bid opening?
Now, just one question in general, we gave them time to take whatever they needed out of the house, do we know if they've done that, or we don't know
That's.
that? Okay, just that, no, just ask,
I-
I know,
Well, I know that David had made them aware that they needed to
Remember
get
to
all
meet.
this, yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I've spoke to the resident, the former occupant, if you would, quite numerous
Extensively,
times,
yeah.
yeah, extensively,
Yeah.
is a good way to put it. And whether they have or not, they've been told they've got a, time frame, and they have until the construction, or the demolition of the project itself starts, so whether they've taken advantage of that, I don't know, so.
He tried to report a couple nights ago that people were stealing the contents of the house.
Okay.
So evidently there's still contents. When the officers went, they did not find anything stolen, or could not determine what was.
Tell them to be careful if they go in. Alright, so you're looking for a motion?
Where do you need, motion to approve ground control excavating, if the board so chooses to go with the low bidder, for a total amount of $62,000.
I'll make that motion.
And a second,
I'll second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
And as discussed, Brian brought it up with the youth center. This week, we'll have the temporary pickleball court, we're gonna take that down. That was requested by some renters coming forward, so this way, that'll be taken care of during the week. And in regard to the drywall damage, Dean had made a recommendation at the last meeting, discussing that. They had made the repairs from the first incident. Obviously, this was scheduled, his guys will take care of this repair, but we need to come up with some type of, obviously, no outdoor ball, baseball, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it should just be like,
That should be common sense,
yes,
obviously.
Well,
well, we're gonna have to.
I think the issue is you're allowing pickleball in there,
Yeah, so I
and a
think that,
pickleball is not going to,
Go through all.
No,
no, it's not. I mean, but
so,
where do you decipher a ball, you know what I mean? I mean, I'll talk to you a little bit more about, how it happened, because I know how it happened. There was someone playing catch in there. With the new door upgrades, they now close, so there's no leaving the door open, we now know who will be swiping their badge and who will be going in and out, since Night Watch is, I think, pretty much done up there. And what the repercussion in the future is gonna be if someone does it. I mean, the first time around, someone immediately contacted me, immediately, and he even offered to go up and fix it, which we didn't take him up on his offer, but he at least came forward and, as I feel, did the right thing. The second person did not.
I just think we should make some general rules, like no baseball throwing, no football, no soccer ball, no basketball. You know, we have a nice building there, and I wanna see it continue that way, but you would think it would be a given, but I guess we'll have to write it into it.
so we'll come up with something, we'll put it together, adopt that at the next meeting. Hopefully, we can talk to Dean about either having some signs or something for the interior, put up with that. We can advertise it once it's complete. Right. Just another item, I had mentioned at our last meeting, we had a planning board member, Barry Moore, has stepped down from the planning board. He has over 30 years of volunteer service on that board, which is quite an accomplishment. That's quite a lofty goal to hit for anybody, whether you're a volunteer or, it's a career position. So just want to recognize Mr. Moore on his dedication to the town and its residents. We have a certificate we're going to send to him. I'm just going to put up a little, write a little letter for him to include with it. We'll also have something mentioned at the planning board meeting this upcoming Wednesday for his fellow colleagues, just for his recognition there in his service to the town. And
Kathleen has something.
you have something to,
I just wanted to ask, you're saying those lines will be removed, will they be removed before this weekend, because we do have a function in there on Sunday?
yeah, it'll be done during the week.
Okay.
Is it a wedding function this weekend?
No, but it's
Just
a
a
bridal,
party. No,
yeah, it's a
that's fine.
bridal
That's fine.
shower, yeah.
I have the magic erasers to take the marks off the floor, so.
You mean they're not gonna play pickleball at the bridal shower?
I
I've never been to one, so.
On to
Lucky
public
you.
comment.
I have another question.
Sure.
Okay. If I figure out the date situation for the Juneteenth, because it's already 2 months away,
Mhm.
and I love to plan ahead, and I like to have all my I's dotted and T's crossed, can you guys figure something out within the week? Or I have to wait till the next meeting?
The only thing we would need is the completed rental application, because we approved your festival pending the date availability and the application,
No,
which is in
I-
Dean's office.
So if I get the information from them, say tomorrow or sometime this week?
Oh, yeah, it would be
Are we
fine.
a go?
Yes, it would be, as long as you have all of the application filled out and completed with Dean and Amy at the highway.
Okay,
Yeah, so this way it would just be whatever time, you need to put that together and get your information for them.
right. And so you are okay with hosting it?
Yes,
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
you're welcome.
I may have more.
Diane?
Just a couple of things following up, I didn't know I had a question, so my issue got up again. So, with the Juneteenth, festival that she's proposing, it would be a town-hosted thing.
Well, your letter, Alicia, right, if
I mean, that's what she just said. So it's not, I guess where I'm coming from is, it's not that she's renting the pavilion to do this, but that I assume she was asking you
Right,
to
for the
sponsor
town to
it,
host it, yeah.
Town would host it.
but she would do you would do the
I would do
legwork?
the legwork, and it would just be a town event hosted, just like we do the spring concerts or like the Easter parades, and it'll be hosted by the town.
You're asking them to waive the fee.
Right, yeah.
Would the town be, we'd have to add that in, would we be able to, would you wanna waive the fee for the Juneteenth festival? So just, you would be doing all of the organization and we're just providing the area,
Right.
is what we would
No,
do,
we're not charging the fee.
yeah, at no fee.
Okay, and if I have questions about anything, I can just come to you guys and just ask you, hey, this person is asking, cause there's electricity there, cause I'm not familiar with the space.
Correct, yep, and that's also, go ahead.
So I don't know if I talked to Brian, cause I know you're always at that space, so I don't know. Will
You
you
can
be,
come talk to me,
who
that's
will be
fine.
my contact
That's
person,
fine.
will be my question.
I don't have a problem talking to you.
Yeah, either Brian or Dean, so again, you know, with the park, that's,
I'm up all night, so if you feel the need to answer in the morning, I will answer you.
My question, I have a question now.
Jim.
Are you just gonna be using the area by the pavilion, or are you looking to expand more?
I'm just thinking of you, cause it's the first time and I'm assuming it's gonna be small, I'm thinking of just the pavilion area. Very similar in my mind, like the summer concert, and if I get like 1 or 2 food trucks to park them outside the basketball court parking lot area, that's what I'm thinking.
Just the, what do you call it, as far as food truck goes, we did upgrade the electric at the pavilion, but I can tell you, if you are getting food trucks, see if they can bring a generator with them.
Right, yes, that's on my list. I
Okay,
have-
no, the only reason I say there is electricity there, but I don't know that it's gonna,
Well, the electricity will be for like the speaker or
yeah, no,
people
that's fine, that's fine.
performing.
Now, a thought I just had, I don't know what day you were proposing, but.
The 18th or the 19th, depending upon which day Dean, it's a Saturday or a Sunday.
And the time?
Like from 1 PM to 4 PM.
Is Little League still in session at that point? I'm thinking parking.
that's.
It is.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's definitely playoffs.
June, yeah, June is
Probably,
playoff.
Yeah, like all-star playoff time could be. That's
You can
something
check and see
Dean
what
would
time
probably
it
have
is
their
on.
schedule.
Yeah, I
if
just
they're-
wanted to throw it
Yeah.
out, because I hadn't thought about that, but that could limit your parking
Okay.
space.
Huge.
Okay,
We also park them
I
down by the
don't wanna
football
move
too,
on
yeah.
unless you're done.
Do you have
Plenty
any
of
questions?
No,
I'm just gonna look for the schedule for the Little League.
If there's parking, you know, we got plenty of park across the street and then up across by the football field and stuff there.
Right,
There's
and
plenty
that
of
would work
parking.
out too.
yeah,
Okay.
and worst case, the food trucks, instead of going by the basketball courts, if you want, you could always put them on the road that's behind, kinda where we park for the summer concert series.
Oh, yes, yes,
You
yes.
can always put them there, I mean,
It's
it's,
not a bad place.
yeah,
Okay.
and you could get a decent amount of cars up, as long as Little League's not using that one field, you can actually run the fence line all the way out to the back too with cars.
I'm so excited.
You all set?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. CPR training.
Yes,
In the past, well, let me back up. You know, we have, a certain percentage of our seniors who are not not Mount Hope residents, and they pay a higher, what am I trying to say, dues than the residents do. In the past, the CPR training has been open to them, and the fee was waived if there was space permitting. And I don't wanna tell them that that's being offered if it's not in it. If that,
Here's a question for you, can you find out how many people are possibly interested?
sure,
And then just let one of us know and, yeah, let's
I
start
don't
there.
think,
'cause that's
I don't
what-
think we've ever had more than 1 or 2 non-residents, because what happens is Angie calls me to verify that they're actually members, so.
I got it.
Yeah, but I'll find that out. Alrighty, and the only other thing I had was to say I'm very disappointed to hear that Paula is leaving. She has been a delight to work with, both from the village end and especially from Hometown Helpers. She's very sensitive, she really can tune in when she needs to pick up the phone and call us instead of just sending an email. So whatever she's moving on to, I wish her the very best. That's it.
Anybody else from the public? Okay, on to our board comments. Amanda? Brian?
Oh, I do have a comment. I talked to Kathleen before the meeting. She's having some internet issues with, one of the computers in there. I believe it's on a separate line from her two main computers. The problem is it's fishing licenses and hunting licenses. So as a, quick fix, and again, this is a temporary fix, we could I'll put a Y, I'll buy a Y and I'll put a Y in her line. So she will have internet to that one computer, but this is definitely an issue we need to talk about to upgrade the, internet in Angie's office, for two reasons. One, our phone system that we recently purchased is internet-based, and I don't know that it's gonna work with as bad as it is. Two, this room is horrible for Wi-Fi. We learned that during COVID with the Zoom. I think by doing a better system even in the center of her office, to fix it, and not to mention when we do our addition, that's gonna be a whole nother issue. So if we think about it sooner than later, but I will be down tomorrow, Kathleen, to work on your issue to fix it.
Thank you.
And one last thing, the copier in the senior center, in that storage room, there's an old photocopier, okay. Is that something that can go out with John? It hasn't,
I don't
as
think
many
it's.
I
years as
bet
I've
it
been
hasn't
using
been
it.
plugged in
I
in
think
12
that was like
years.
slid in there because there was nowhere else to put it.
Okay, so two things. One, can we get that through? Do we have to,
Talk to Dean about that.
okay. Do we have anything in the basement that needs to get thrown out for junk week? Because I can answer part of this. There's a lot of stuff down there that could just.
Yeah. I'm just thinking yes.
And one last thing, there's a piece of exercise equipment that was donated to us, not something that we purchased, that two plastic pieces broke off the end. Tried repairing it, it's not gonna work, so I wanted to talk to him about getting rid of that piece out of the youth center also, just so no one cuts themselves on it or does anything crazy.
We'll talk to Dean tomorrow. We do need to amend the motion for the Juneteenth festival to include, as we just discussed, no fee, no rental fee for that application. So we need a motion to add that.
Question.
Go ahead, Jim.
Hold on, agreement, we need that filled out too,
That would all be part of the,
contract.
should be part of the rental
Okay,
agreement.
just double check.
We need to amend the motion for the Juneteenth festival to include waiving the park rental fee.
I'll make the motion.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we added that. And comments on to Chris.
I just wanna say, I'm gonna miss Paula, so I'm glad that she's moving on to whatever she wants to do, but Paula's, been a great asset. And, I really don't have anything else.
And Jim?
Same thing, I ran into Paula, I wish her the best of luck, and, I'll piggyback off of Brian's comment about the network. I suggested maybe we should try to get like a centralized area, like run network cables to all the offices and have dedicated hardwired net connections. Something we can maybe talk to the IT guy about, have a patch panel with a switch.
When we moved, just to add to him, when we moved all the wiring from Angie's old office, which is Linda's office, over,
Yeah.
all the wiring, it's all hardwired, was all moved over. I forgot how many lines it was something crazy. It's like, what do you call it, but, depending on what Angie's office is gonna be in the future, maybe it's something we could do on the wall right in there, in a box, kinda like what's near our mailboxes.
Okay.
Nothing crazy, it's just, we gotta upgrade.
And we need executive session too.
Yes,
Yes.
yep, that's. Almost to the end.
Is there gonna be a time limit on
5
that?
minutes.
Asking for a friend.
5 minutes.
It's a man's 5 minutes.
10 minutes, 10 minutes.
It's 10 minutes for never
I
10
have 2
minutes.
issues, 5 and 5, 5 and 5.
The only thing I'm gonna add, like Jim and Chris had said, wish Paula the best. Like I had mentioned with my Coffee and Chief interview, I think the most difficult, we're fortunate that Kathleen has a new perspective prospective clerk. But I think the most difficult aspect is, you know, the personnel management, the retirements, the people that leave, you know, and having another quality person to do the job like we have. So we wish Paula the best.
Let's not forget about her
And
case.
let's, yeah. And we need a motion to enter executive session for 2 police personnel items.
I'll make the motion.
And a second? Second, Amanda, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You were hiding, I didn't see you back there.
Cool idea. I was gonna cry.
Look forward to our class.
Oh, do you? You wanna hear all about the things you shouldn't do, that I should not do?
Come on down.
Don't have that? I didn't know if I was gonna catch you. I just wanna say thank you for your.
Is it smaller?
Hold on, the words, I'm just in Mexico for a week.
Yeah, education,
Boy,
history,
Yeah.
I
couldn't, it was only coming in Spanish, sometimes that happens if I'm not resigned.
Oh, wow. People did. A lot of people did. So, which is why I wanted to do something, because we're always going other places. Right. More willing to do that. Yes.
Why not good for her?
What'd you do to Paula?
Very cool.
We always do.
That's very exciting. So,
Really?
here's the thing, if you find that you're getting a lot of people interested, which is wonderful. Great.
Oh.
But once we get to 1,000, getting that to then we have to talk about route management. Hopefully we'll get to that at some point, but you have to keep that in the back of your head, okay? And
She's good to know, she looks so young. Wait, she looks my age.
so you may attract a lot of people. And we are parks
I just
club,
turned
we're
49.
meetings with Facebook and everything. You may find that you have a lot of people interested. Yeah.
Oh,
cute.
Springtime.
Good thing everything is being done in different areas, same day.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Gotcha.
Mostly
Good.
Sundays available, because that's actually the night.
Good. We were in Mexico, my daughter and I went to
And you wanna know what
In
we
Mexico.
do is if it doesn't go this year.
She
then
suddenly
just
lost
keep
peripheral
it
vision.
every
For
year.
next year.
She says, Mom, I'm looking at you, I can't see the corner of the table, I can't see right past that.
But maybe not.
Arm past the
But then
table.
this way you're not ongoing for the following year.
And so after about 3 hours of this,
Yep.
and you can. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
He, I called him and I'm like, listen, this is what's happening. He asked a bunch of questions, he said, oh, that's right, I said exactly correct. He asked, is it black, are there flashes, you know, she's 12, like, it's hard for her, she goes, it's black.
Kathleen, I spoke.
You
I
did good,
spoke.
Monisha.
Did you get nervous? Cause you look
I was
nervous.
nervous. I was nervous.
You did so good.
I was so nervous.
said, you could leave now. Oh, she shouldn't be nervous. I know, but
She did great.
I said she ran for election, how can you be
I-
pregnant small?
It's different. It's different.
I know, but you did good.
But thank
You
you.
get an A+.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
incredibly painful.
And then as soon as I'm moving, so.
So he said, you need to get to the ER, this is one of the few ophthalmological emergencies. If it's a retinal detachment, because that's often what causes that darkness, whatever, then she can lose, very quickly, she can lose central vision and never get it back. So, I mean, we went back and forth, and then it started to come back, then she'd lay down and come back a little bit, she'd sit up, and he's like, it could be the flap, well, I hear
My
that, leaning
balance
back
is
down,
not
coming
good,
back
but
up.
that's
It's really
because
she had
both
no
ankles
trauma.
were
She
affected, so.
doesn't have a history of MS, there's really,
Oh yeah, that's
there
why
are
I still
no
have the
indicators.
Yes.
So, and I'm like, my insurance isn't gonna cover this, but I couldn't get my insurance on the phone, and I'm like, we're in Mexico, it's 6:30 at night, 7 o'clock at night. So finally, we're just like, okay, you know what, over $1,000, I won't be able to sleep. Or yeah, I'm gonna worry about her all night long, what if I call her and go blind? So they ended, I told, normally I go with her, and she's like, Mom, you're not gonna come? I said, I feel more comfortable with your dad going with you, because it was a taxi ride, it was like a 40-minute taxi ride to the hospital. I can speak Spanish, that I could have done, but I was really feeling anxious, and I just thought it was safer for a man to go in a taxi with her,
Mhm.
cause I did not wanna end up on the evening news,
Yeah.
you know, in Mexico,
Right,
being
right.
kidnapped somewhere. And then on like the last day and a half, my husband's stomach was really bad. By the time we flew back, he was in bad shape, and yesterday he ended up, luckily he didn't have to go to the ER, but he ended up in urgent care, he had a fever, the diverticulitis, he's got the swelling in the colon again, and it's all inflamed, he had fever, and he's in bad shape. I'm like, oh my God. I don't know that he's gonna make it another 2.5 years. That was our goal, for him to get to 25 years.
To retiring.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, like, looking at.
Because of that incident?
So he can't hear. Like 2 or 3 weeks ago, so he already had major hearing loss. He's had what they call cholesteatomas in his ears, which are like tumors that grow and they eat the bones, and so he's had about 5 surgeries total. Has a 70 to 80% hearing loss in the right ear, and now he can't hear out of the left ear. Like there's fluid that he can't get out. Like we've tried Allegra D, he was on amoxicillin to see if it would
Did they
clear
try
it.
putting a tube in? My husband gets
the
tubes
left
in his
ear.
ears.
So he's got major issues. I don't even know if he has, the structure in the ear is compromised
Okay.
at this point because of the tumors that ate everything away. And so it's like the right ear, if you look at my ear, you see like the loopy loop, right?
Yeah.
He had what's called a canal down procedure. You can see right through. Like if water hits his ear, it's like hitting his brain. He'll pass out. He has to be very careful in the water. They had to take out the entire canal. So, I mean, listen, I'm telling you, the cholesteatomas, and it oozes, and it's bad. So he's like, I can't go to work like this. He's on vacation right now. So when he goes back, he's probably gonna end up on medical leave. And it's not job related, it's just medical leave. They get unlimited sick, but it's a pain in the ass. You have to go down to 9 Metrotech in Brooklyn, which is downtown Brooklyn, to their doctors.
Mhm.
And you're going there like once a week at least, usually, unless you're in the middle of surgery or something.
Yeah.
So I just see his health going down. You know, he does a night shift at the firehouse and he's just exhausted. His sleep apnea is worse
Does he have
and
the CPAP?
he tried it and it didn't work for him. So he didn't use it enough and so they made him give it back. Cause you know you have to use it a certain amount. I have a CPAP because they said I have moderate sleep apnea, which is weird. I'm just exhausted when I wake up. I don't snore or anything. I must have a collapse of the trachea. So they said I have moderate sleep apnea. He has severe, I have moderate. I told him, we brought it to Mexico, it's 5 pounds, it took up 5 pounds in my fucking suitcase, Kathleen, where I had to carry that shit in my backpack. It was like that.
You're still on camera.
Oh, I forgot. I have not said anything inappropriate.
I'm just saying,
Everybody knows about my husband's sleep apnea now.
They do, that's okay.
just a reminder.
Thank you,
You're
I do
welcome.
forget.
I figured.
My husband would not be happy that I'm talking about it.
So,
So I just feel like it's very possible that within a year, once we get the healthcare situation straightened out, and we get our financial situation straightened out, that he's probably gonna retire. Because his dad probably has a year to live.
oh, God.
He's in really bad shape, and he worked more than 2 careers. He was a professor, a PhD in the Dominican Republic, more than 20 years. Moved his entire family to the US, then took on an entire new career as a school teacher in the public school system in New York City and then in Yonkers, and that's where he retired.
Wow.
Ends up retiring at like 65, immediately gets diagnosed with Parkinson's
Oh,
and then cancer.
Horrible.
And now the cancer has spread to his liver and his bones.
oh, sorry.
So, yeah, and I love the man. I mean, I've been in the family since I was 14.
Wow.
So I don't want that for my husband. He works on one of the busiest firehouses in the city. They have like, so it's the ladder company and the engine company. They're like 3,000 runs, just the ladder company, I think, a year.
Wow.
He's not sleeping, you know, and the
Wow.
physical toll, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's 100 pounds a
Yeah.
year, it's,
Right.
and they're just running their balls off. I know 45 is not that old.
It's all right, they already caught you grabbing yourself before.
Nope, I had my back turned to the camera. And I think it hadn't started yet. I want him to enjoy life, and I wanna be able to enjoy him, because I actually love him, and I do wanna grow old with him.
That's on camera.
I know, see,
Oh,
Danny, I love
honey,
you.
she professed her love.
I
But
know.
wait a minute, so back to your daughter then. What was the end
No
result?
idea. So they told us to follow up the ophthalmologist. We went to Mexico, she ended up in the ER.
Oh my god.
She lost peripheral vision in her eye, and we were concerned that maybe her retina detached or something.
I just
But they don't know.
went through something very similar to that, probably, well, it's right after my birthday.
You did?
Yeah.
Somebody told me low blood pressure.
No, well, I don't know.
Could it be?
If-
You don't have
if
a
it
mess,
was
do
that.
you?
No, I had, I was coming home from my daughter's house, when I left, I thought I was having like a little bout of vertigo. And she lives in Yorktown Heights, so we take that, what is that, the Bear Mountain Goat Trail? Oh my God, that's awful.
It is.
So I could feel myself getting nauseous and the spins were coming, whatever. We got
And she
on-
vertigo.
and I get vertigo.
Okay.
It's a thing. And we were on 17, and I said, we need to pull over, I'm gonna throw up.
Oh.
My parents are in the back seat, Joe's driving, like, whatever, so pulls over.
Did something happen to Joe?
My Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah, he fell and broke his leg.
And did his dad have a heart attack?
A month before the wedding. And his
Is that right?
father.
Yes,
His father was in a car accident.
That's right, I remember, I was on that day.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I called the firehouse, I think I called the
Yes,
police station to
yes.
find out if
It
you
was on Mount Hope Road,
narrow
but it
down
was,
where it was, yeah,
it
it's
was like-
down
it
by,
was-
Doze, what is it?
yeah,
Van
Dozen
Duzer?
or something.
No, Van Duzer.
No, I think
No,
it's,
is it Van Duzer? No, what
there's
is
a
it?
Dozen, isn't there?
No, it.
Like
no, it's-
Pocatello, it was by Pocatello, like
Yes,
that
yeah.
way.
Yeah, that.
But
that's
the
Van
opposite
Duzer.
side, yeah, so
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, that's right around where it was, the
He
guy
was
who
rear-ended, or he was,
He took too much medication, he got confused, and then he went into Maddie's Diner and had breakfast with all the guys, and then he came home and then he fell asleep. And coincidentally, the house that he didn't hit the house, but the property that he hit is the kid who owns Monteverde Landscaping. So his house landscaping was gorgeous.
oh my God.
He had his mailbox, encased in this beautiful, like, yellow stone, I mean, it's huge, it was probably like this, tall, but maybe this wide, with the mailbox, and he knocked that from one side of the property to the other. The car was so bad, when I rolled up on the scene, Joe, my husband is down by Jersey at a job site, he gets a call from a lady who's hysterical at the property, she saw the whole thing happen. She was able to get in the car somehow and find his phone, got his phone, called my husband, who called me and said, please, can you go there, Dad, it's in a bad wreck, I don't know what you're gonna find, but, and I rolled up and I thought, he can't be alive, there's no way he can be alive.
From hitting that stone mailbox?
Yeah, totally, yeah, because it's nothing but it's like hitting a wall. So.
He just hit the wrong mailbox. He could've hit somebody else's mailbox.
Any other mailbox, right, and then, he was like this close to the telephone pole, they don't know how it didn't.
You would've been better off.
And then they wouldn't let me, and then I don't know the difference between an EMT
A paramedic.
and a medic.
Okay.
So I get there and this is standing vigil at the ambulance, I honestly thought. And I said, I'm here, he's like, who are you? And I said, well, I'm his daughter-in-law, his son is at a job down in Jersey, he's on his way, but he asked me to respond. And he said, you can't see him. And I said, well, I said, like, I'm starting to get choked
Yeah.
up. And he said, I can't give you any information. I'm like,
Wait, why are they doing that?
That's
Thank God-
ridiculous.
Thank God Wayne Milton was there and Stu Carver, you know them?
Mm-hmm.
But you know them,
Mhm.
so at least I know them. So I'm like, can somebody please talk to this guy, like, he won't let me see my father-in-law, I just wanna see him, I just need, to
Right.
report to my husband. So finally they talked to him, and he lets me, and I could only stand
I
at the
would've
end.
lost my mind.
I would too.
Well, I didn't wanna be the crazy
No,
one.
I know.
You know what I
Like,
mean?
what the hell?
I mean, really, and he goes, oh, man, finally after I told him, hey, Pop, how you doing? Blood is literally gushing out of his hand. He broke his hand, he broke this whole bone here, I don't know how, or whatever happened inside the
People
car.
tend to like do, you know.
Yeah,
Right.
so the whole insert of the car was pushed back. I don't know how his chest wasn't compressed. Anyway, this is where, he's laying there, and he's got his hand like this, and the blood, every time, your heart pulses,
Yeah.
it just,
Hurting.
and they're going,
I hit an artery.
they had a little, I'm telling you, if the piece of gauze was this big, we're trying to get a handle on the blood loss, and I was like, how about a little pressure, like, I don't know, I took CPR, like, put a little pressure on it, how about you raise it above his heart, I don't know, anything that I was ever taught as a
Right.
mom, like, if your kid
Right.
gets hurt or whatever,
Right.
but anyway, so he's like, we have to take him to meet the medic, and I'm like, what do you mean? And they said, we have to, if he's said it once, he said it probably 7 times.
Clearly you didn't understand it, so now
We
explain
have to take
it.
him to see the medic. I said, I don't know what that means, can you please explain it
Right.
to me? And he goes, we have to drive. And now he's being, and I said,
Oh,
okay.
oh
So that's
my
when I
gosh.
turned around and I saw Wayne walking this way. And I said, I don't really wanna start crying here, but I'm getting very upset and I'm feeling very, there's a big lack of respect here. And I just wanna know,
For
I've
what
asked the
reason?
question, what is the difference between
And then it's more, has more
yeah,
training.
between the two, and he said, the medic can,
Give
give
medication.
medications, these people are only here to just.
Was it Mobile Life? It couldn't have been Mobile Life, cause they ride an EMT and a paramedic
No.
in a bus.
No, I don't know,
It's probably local.
Wallkill, maybe it was Wallkill?
I think it was, but, so they had to go and
So all of a sudden, we're getting Wallkill coming in when Mobile Life used to,
Oh, really?
only ever saw Mobile Life.
Wow.
And Mobile Life runs an EMT and a paramedic.
and I said, so where are you gonna meet the medic? Wherever they tell us.
Oh,
I was not a happy camper, but I could feel everything, you know.
oh.
Anyway, so yeah, so after that, then a month later, he got suspended license and now.
Did
License has been suspended because he told everyone, first, he wanted to sue everybody for, the HIPAA violation. Joe goes, "Dad." He told everybody, he fell asleep told me. Well, yeah, but I did. Well, there's no HIPAA violation. First of all, there's no doctor involved. And second of all, you're the one who told everybody.
Did he say it was because of medication level?
He said, oh, I might have taken a little too much medication.
Oh, did he get a PWAI?
No,
Okay.
no, he didn't get any tickets or anything like
But
that.
this is-
But they suspended him and said, you need doctor, whatever,
Right,
sign off on
clearance,
something.
yeah.
He did get a DWAI drugs.
And
He could have.
I guess, I mean,
It's
They put him on-
it's a controlled substance. If it's a substance that
it was, it's
but
a.
any substance that impairs your substance. Now, I mean, you have discretion, right? Like, you wouldn't necessarily do it.
Right.
Well, the thing is, it's a
You get
very, what?
You get
No, it was, who was it?
Well,
Tanner
it's gonna be
Walker.
Walker.
Yeah, and he was nice, you know, that guy was.
I mean, that happens with liver people all the time.
That's
You know,
true, too. So
unfortunately.
that there is a difference.
Just
Right.
been put on medication the day before, because he was having, spasms.
I actually didn't know that they suspended your license for that, unless somebody, you know what they did?
Because he
I bet you the officer filled out one of those forms, a driver review form.
But he didn't know that until after, you know, it was ridiculous.
But you were going with your eye.
Yes, so anyway,
You know.
I had this episode on the side of 17 where I'm not hyperventilating, whatever, nothing. I had the worst headache I've ever had in my entire life. Now all of a sudden I'm seeing these flashes and I'm like, is that lightning? I kept thinking I was seeing lightning. But my head is pounding and I have this huge, I still have it, floater in my eye.
Oh, you do look low.
So coincidentally, I had made an appointment to get my new glasses with just an optometrist. So I'm telling my girlfriend who's a nurse that, you know, I have these things, and of course I went on the internet and I read I could be having a TIA, I could be this, and this, and she says.
Could have been an optical migraine.
No, yeah, so
Retinal
she
migraine.
says, you need to call your
Ophthalmologist.
optometrist
Oh.
and let them know that this is what's happening, should you see them still and go see an ophthalmologist, but, so, that guy says, oh, you need to go, I called him, explained everything. So I get there and he thought right away that my retina had detached, so he did the whole, whatever you have to do, the Vaseline in the eye.
They dilated and they
worst, yeah.
look at.
And then I had to go back 2 weeks later, and he said, she said, I see the floater, it's
Yeah.
pretty big, and hopefully it'll start, you know, pieces will come off and it'll go away. Try not to do things like, which I'm constantly doing, because like as I'm looking at you, it's fine, and then all of a sudden the floater will come up and I'll feel like my vision is getting blurry.
Uh-huh.
And they said that you have to try and ignore it, because the more you try and you think you're pushing it out of the way, you're not, because it's behind your, it's not on top. So like I'm constantly going like
Right,
this,
right,
thinking
right,
that it's something in my, like
right.
that I can just pull out and I can't.
Yeah.
So they said, no, thank God, you know, it's no retina or anything like that, but it could, if I keep pushing the issue and like, you know, doing all
Don't do
this.
that.
Well, I mean, I'm not doing it as dramatically as I,
Okay.
as I would, but I can see it right now, it's starting to come over. And so I wanna, you know, try and clear it, but I can't, so they said, don't do that because you can cause your own retina to detach.
Really?
Yeah, which I didn't know,
I didn't know that.
from doing that, because you're trying to, you know,
Right.
you're thinking you're correcting it, but anyways, you
My
have to
God.
train, you have to train your brain to not see it. Well, that's hard when it's sitting right here and I'm looking at
It
you
is
and I
hard.
feel like I'm looking at a, you know, a worm,
Yeah.
and you.
I have a floater in my left eye, a pretty big one.
And they said, oh, it's age, and by the way, you have to start with cataracts.
Oh, no.
Like, very, very, very minimal, but you have to start with
Thanks.
cataracts. And I go, well, that's easy, that's, you know, you get them removed, they're done.
Some people, when they get them removed, they don't even need glasses now.
Yeah, that my parents don't.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
wild, right?
Yeah,
Really?
so I
Yeah.
said, what the heck, but it's too mild for that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
do you want to do something for Paul or
I was thinking maybe
Pizza
on
and ice
that
cream.
last, huh?
Pizza and ice cream.
Yeah, right. I was wondering if she would make a cake.
Oh, Paula, can you make a cake for yourself?
And that would be insulting, would be insulting to bring another cake in.
I'm not here on the fifth, but I'm here on the fourth.
Oh.
Well, no,
Yeah, I'm probably gonna do a little, you know, something here.
How long has she been with us?
6 years.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
Time flies.
Probably travel so much, she must be able to travel a little.
He goes good places too.
Yeah? I wish mine was a pilot. Well, now he really can't be, because he's really deaf.
Because he's
He's literally doing this now to hear me.
Oh my gosh.
Like everything I repeat 3 times.
And hearing aids wouldn't help.
It might, well, this is new.
Mm.
He's always had about 80% in the one ear, and he had okay hearing in the other ear, and now he just can't hear anything.
No jeepers.
I mean, everybody feels bad for him, and I feel bad for him, but you gotta feel bad for his family too. Like, he can't hear shit. I have to yell, I have to repeat things. It's so frustrating.
Yeah.
He's such a wonderful, kind guy, but you know what happens is I saw this happen with a friend of mine who, her husband suddenly lost his hearing, like first in one ear and then the other, he had cochlear implants on
Okay.
both sides, crazy, like literally just from like one day to the next. And he started to withdraw. Yeah, he withdrew from the family, he withdraws
Right.
from conversation.
Because you can't hear stuff and.
So now and I didn't realize this, the voices are electronic. He'll never hear his children's voices ever again. I know, I think that was the part that was the hardest for me.
That is hard.
They're like, he knows if it's male or female speaking. I guess it has a different tone, but he'll never actually hear the voices again.
If he gets a cochlear in.
No, this guy, the guy that I'm talking about, has double cochlears.
Oh.
He woke up with like a ringing in the ear, and first it was one ear, and then a few months later it was the other ear.
That's so weird.
Right?
So my hubby has the tinnitus, so he has the constant
Ringing. Thank God I don't.
And Sherry, who used to work for the police department, she has the tinnitus also. And she found a supplement that she takes now for years, it's called Ear Care, that actually CBS puts out. And she thinks it's helped her, so I actually bought the bottle and Joe did it for like 2 months and there's no difference.
Yeah.
So I had the extra bottle, cause it was like buy one, get 2 free one time.
Yeah.
And I gave it to Sherry and she's like, oh my God, you know, they're not cheap,
If
but
it works for her.
yeah, both the help.
Yeah. Whether it actually works or it's mental or
Whatever.
And it's all herbal stuff, you know, but, I don't know, maybe he just needed to take a stronger dose, I don't know, if he followed
He's
the
a bigger,
directions.
he's much bigger than her.
Yeah.
I mean,
of
twice the
course,
size.
Yeah.
Alright, ladies, have a good night.
Alright, you too.
Good night.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
Yeah, I knew it. I was like, 20 minutes, 25 minutes. It's all good.
Well, we knew that
8:30.
was gonna
Oh
happen.
my God, it is 25 minutes.
Well, we knew that.
Mm-hmm.
They were not easy personal things. What is that?
That's our time clock.
What did it tell you? What did it thank
She
you
said,
for?
it said, thank you for punching out. It thanks you for punching in.
Oh. Ah, I have a Rhodesian Ridgeback. Marie sent me, it's kind of gory, but dismembered body of woman found in duffel bag. Guy was walking his 2 Rhodesians and they got agitated when they went near a duffel bag that was dumped there. And then as he walked them home, so he can go to the precinct. They led him to a pool of blood, 100 yards away from the bag. And that's how the police figured out the bag leaked, and they followed the blood to her house. Smart doggies. My
Wow.
doggy is a smart doggy. He is actually too smart. He's a little prick. Such a jerk, I love him. He's so gorgeous too, he goes away with stuff because he's so gorgeous. He's just a gorgeous little pup. That's crazy.
We have a black lab.
So our dog is a lot of work, a lot more work than a normal dog. He require, like this morning, I had to run him before I came to work. I had to. And I did 4 miles, which is really nothing for him, but that's all I could squeeze in. And then, and really he should get another walk, otherwise, like right around 8 o'clock, we call it the witching hour. He goes nuts. He's just full of energy. He's a hunting dog,
How old is
basically.
it?
3. So he still acts like a puppy. He still is full of piss and vinegar. He does get me out there though, on days that I would otherwise not go, rain, snow. I ran all winter on the trails. I got like micro cleats and I ran, cause that dog needs to run.
How big is your property?
3 acres.
You don't have it fenced in or anything?
We have an electric fence. He goes out there, but we're not, unless I'm doing the flirt pole or something, he doesn't do catch.
Oh.
He's like, you go get your own ball. So I do the owner walk of shame and I go get my own ball.
Throw it from there.
And then he's still like, he'll look at it, and the only time he'll ever get anything is sticks. Because then I try to take the stick away, it's like the game,
And it's a game.
and he wants to eat it. So then he starts to eat it and I try to take it away and he runs away. Like that's really the only chase game we play. But he does love the flirt pole. If I do the flirt pole with a treat at the end, like in a bag, and we do all kinds of training with it. I make him sit, stay, wait. You know, he's dying to get the treat that's in there, and then I make him go after it. People are like, oh, but that will increase their prey drive. There is no taking away his prey drive, and there is no increasing it. Like, if there's a squirrel or a groundhog, you're not stopping him. So, I'm not doing anything different. He also will kill chickens, like, he killed my neighbor's chickens. Only 1.5. He injured one and killed one.
Oh.
Cause the first one he didn't know what to do with, so he brought it back to my house. It was like,
Dinner, Ma!
yeah, my husband got it from him, and it was injured, so we gave it back. And then the next time he got in there, it was like, they have a farm and they have sheep and lambs and whatever. And he went to town, and he caught one of the chickens, and he made quick work of that chicken. And then he just ran after all the sheep, and they were stampeding through the fences, and oh, it was such a nightmare. And I'm in flip-flops, I'm screaming for my neighbor to come outside and help me. My house is a quarter mile away. My husband didn't hear me. He certainly didn't hear me. And so I finally got this dog, and I was so mad. And then I had to buy chickens that were already egg-laying. Like, I couldn't give her $3 chicks. That would be rude. She has to then, like, raise them for 2 years. So I went and bought egg-laying chickens. I replaced 2 chickens. I got her 2 chickens. That's the right thing to do. But they're wonderful. They're like old school Irish farmers. Don't worry, we'll make chicken soup tonight. Like, she's so great. She's so great. And that's when we got the electric fence. We're like, okay, this is not working. We put it in. He has broken through once,
Yeah.
and then he didn't want to come back home.
Yeah, because he's afraid.
Mm-hmm.
We had chickens too. 2 sets of 6.
What happened? Foxes?
Prey, owls.
Owls.
Critters that go underneath. Oh my God.
Really?
Yeah, come and my kids, when they were little, they named them all. You know, like one was Goldie, one was French Fry, one was Blackie, one was they all had names.
Very ingenious.
And we came home and Goldie was chest
Oh,
open.
no.
Whatever it was, there's
They
certain,
take the heads,
certain-
or they
certain
leave the
animals-
bodies.
Yeah, certain animals take the heads and some get the egg.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God.
Well, that's awful.
Goldie. It's like, oh,
That is gory.
We had a goat that someone decided to give my husband for his 40th birthday. I had to be careful because the goat. His name was Scraps. We named him. So my father-in-law
How
comes
big is
to.
your property?
Oh, we have 48 acres.
You do?
Yeah, we have 48, and my father-in-law has like 36, and we're on the private road.
Yeah.
So
On my
it's all
valley.
it's all one big huge field. So we had a bulldozer at the end
Your
of the driveway.
sister lives at the top.
No, she used to. Sister-in-law.
Sister-in-law.
Joe's sister, yeah.
Yeah.
And we had tractor at the end of our immediate driveway. And then Joe's father comes down and says, hey, I need help with the tractor. He's like, Dad, I got people coming here, you know, it's like, it's my birthday, and Kathleen's got, I know, but I just need help for one thing with this tractor. Well, unbeknownst to me, his friend brought the goat and tied it up on the other side of the tractor. I never saw it. So now the three of them go wandering over, and this goat starts doing backflips because it's not desensitized, it's not socialized, okay? So it's afraid. That goat ate through 2 chains, because you have to have it, you know, it had to be on something, and it wasn't fixed.
Oh my God.
I'm not even lying when I say it was probably as long as it was wide. Joe and I, our kitchen counter overlooks where Scraps was up on the thing.
Oh my God.
Up on the hill outside of our kitchen, you know, I mean, it's from here to the highway away, but you can still see it. And Mackenzie, our youngest, who is now 29, was like, I think she was 9, maybe. She was, Daddy,
Oh my God.
what's that red thing coming out of Scraps' butt? And he goes, I don't really know, like, how do you explain that to a child? You know, we had no idea. So Joe called Warren Pearson, because then we went away, and his dad and mom took care of the goat for us. And we came back, and it had, around our door jamb to our kitchen door, chewed the wood outside. I said,
It was anxious.
either you and the goat go, or the goat goes, but we're getting rid of the goat.
One of you's going.
Because
Or both.
the other thing is, the stench would make you throw up from over there to here, you can
Stop.
smell it, and then it rubs it all over itself.
What?
Oh my God,
You had a nasty, heinous goat.
it was so repulsive.
Your goat was heinous.
It was
That was not a gift, that was a joke.
So Joe calls Warren Pearson and says, I got this goat that my buddy gave me for my birthday, you know. I goes, well, Joe, you have to castrate it. He goes, I know what that means, but what? I mean,
Like rubber band and.
no, just the rubber band.
Mhm.
Pull it down, wrap the rubber band, and it'll dry up and fall off. Joe goes, if I'm doing that, come over here and get the goat. Or better yet, if I can get it in my truck, it's coming over to you. And that's what he did. And we've never seen Scraps again.
He became Scrap.
He would eat everything. You know, anything you put, oh my God, it was the worst. I said, we are not getting any more animals. We had pet rabbits that stayed outside that got killed by, you know, all the critters. We had the chickens, I got 2 sets of 6 that got killed. Freaking goat we had to get rid of. We had a cat that would, you know, kill anything little that ran around and vomited up on our porch. I'm done, like, I don't want any more of this stuff. We had hamsters, we had a snake in the house, but I'm done. Now we have a black lab that we've got a few more years with him, and then that's it. We're done with pets. We had company come from Florida, and the girl called me and said, the bird was alive last night.
Oh no.
But now it's laying down in the bottom of the cage. I didn't think birds laid down to sleep, and I'm like, God, that was my younger daughter's pet. Every pet we got for her freaking died. And I'm like, she's like, what do you want me to do? And I go, I don't know, I'll call Joe. When I am, but you can't flush it.
No, just throw it in the woods. Something will eat it.
I didn't want a dog to get it, you know what I mean? Like, whatever.
How many dogs wander around your woods?
Well, we had a dog. We've had a dog since we were 3 months married. Once they died, we got a new one, you know what I mean? But this is our 4th, and we'll be done.
And you can travel and enjoy life.
Yeah, I'm not worried about who's gonna take care of him.
Right.
But he's
Who do
the
you have
best.
taking care of your dog? You recommend anyone?
Well, it's either if my daughter's home, she'll stay with the dog, or, cause she's on that Rover app,
Mm-hmm.
and she takes care of
She does?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or she'll get outside of the app too.
Is she athletic?
My daughter, yeah, why?
Because we don't have anyone. So like,
Oh.
this time we brought him down to the Bronx, but I'd really rather him stay home. But he can't be alone for 8 hours at a time. Like it's gotta be either somebody that works from home,
or?
And that's what she does now. She actually just started a new job today.
Really?
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to remember. I'm gonna be like, who was it that said they have,
yeah.
like we found somebody, one girl was 45 and one girl was $50 a day. I was like, I would totally pay them to hang out in my house, but he's gotta go for either a long walk or a run.
Yeah,
And the runs are easy. I take him to Stewart's near my house, Stewart Forest, and I just run him off leash there.
yeah.
The walks are, but he's a little bit of a pain in the ass on leash, and you have to be an alpha. Like, you can't be a wishy-washy with him.
She does. When she was in Chicago, and even when she was in New York City, she did that whole Rover thing, and she would, either go and walk them, or she would have the dogs come and stay at her apartment. And out of all of the dogs she ever had, only one that was a little scritch, and actually would pull the internet wire out of the wall. But that owner would pay for everything.
Yeah.
So, that was good, but, she almost got kicked out of her apartment for another dog because she came home to 2 notes. One day, a note on the door, your dog's been barking all day, I think I'm gonna lose my mind, you need to do something about it. And then, the next day she came home and it said, I'm gonna blow my brains out.
No,
If you don't
stop
get-
it.
If you don't get rid of your dog.
Stop
Because
it.
all it does is bark, but then the dog went home, the next day, so I don't know what, that was so long ago, I forget even how, but yeah, the neighbor was pissed. But now, when she's in Chicago and she has a steady that,
Does she ever come
knows-
back here?
Yeah, she's here now.
Just for vacation?
No, she's here for a while, probably at least through the end of May.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
maybe like August.
Yeah, if she's here, I can let you know. Now, you have to.
Go for what?
I don't think so.
I thought he said
You wanted me to wait.
I think we over extended that 5 minutes.
Oh, I thought we've been.
Well, I left her and
We're
the
gonna
door.
call her because this is the one.
I left you
Hello.
and
Hi.
still here.
I know. Well, a couple of,
Don't say other things because you.
other personnel issues.
Yeah, but you go in there for 2 issues, you can't talk about other stuff.
It was 2 police issues.
You're being